Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. Hello. It is Daily Dish time. Are you excited about that? Autumn's got her hydration drink in hand. Do you? I sure hope so. Jocelyn, good to see you. Alice, Catherine, of course. It is lovely day in the neighborhood. If you remember yesterday, I was in short sleeves. It was 75 degrees out. We went and had lunch, had some sushi with some friends of ours visiting from Charlotte. And I'll tell you what, it was a beautiful day in the neighborhood. It is now chilly. You know how it is. It is chilly. I've got my blankie on my legs just to keep up with this temperature here. So who was with us last night? Last night we did the Ultimate Sprint webinar. And essentially what we talked about was the incredible importance of two things, resistance training and protein in a postmenopausal woman, which most of us are. The replay is available if you go to savingdinner.com/us. There's also kits there, the guide there, everything so that you can be set up and ready to go. Jocelyn was there. Of course you were. Anyway, I love this program because it really does work and it does make you feel better. And especially any woman past her, past menopause and always, it just makes such a difference in getting that protein in and spacing it out throughout the day. I explain the whole thing and the reason why we are upping our protein, upping our fiber and all of that. Yes, you were there. Hello, Margot, by the way. I did see Autumn there and I did see Jocelyn there too. So I really appreciate both of you showing up. The other thing is, oftentimes I'll hear people say, oh my gosh, I could never get that much in. You would be surprised how easy it is to get that much protein in and that much fiber in. And if you've got that fiber and you've got that protein in place and you're adding, of course, the beneficial healthy fats that you should be adding to your diet, you've got it, you've got it made. It's just there. Well, look at that. I did not know, Kathleen, that you went by Kathy. Thank you so much for showing up too. I know Kathy was there as well. I call her Kathleen all the time, but I'm going to start calling you Kathy. I like that. So it was great. And it is informative. And this is the way that we could take responsibility for ourselves and become the very best version, the very best, most vibrant, the most fully bloomed version of ourselves. That's what we want, right? Let's not put it off because it's massively important. And you're right. Amber said the Ultimate Sprint smoothie is delish. It is. What's the difference? I'm not going to tell you. You're going to have to go get it and see. How do you like that? The other thing is if you buy the Ultimate Sprint kit, you will get the guide absolutely free. And we're also going to be throwing in these two guys, the Hot Milk Sprint 1 and 2. And what's the difference? It just gives you the whole idea of what the sprint is about. And it also gives you a ton of good recipes that you can use. The only difference that I would say is really here in all of this is that we've upped your protein. That's it. We're fiberlicious on this one. We've got all the anti-inflammatory foods. What more could a girl ask for? Am I right? Hello, Trish. So we have that. We also have always a show special. And this one I'm particularly in love with. I'm sorry. I'm just saying. I'm in love with this. These are our daily affirmation cards. And there's two principles that I use. And tomorrow we're going to unpack what these principles are and why they're so important. And these are I ams and of course, because we are in the business as vibrant women, always looking for ways to short circuit what our brains want to do on the automatic side. If we just automatically did everything in our lives and just just went through for comfort and what have you, we'd be a big time mess. All of us would be. We'd be in a huge, we'd be dealing with huge problems. We can't do that. We have to do things that we don't want to do. And we have to convince ourselves, that's our brain, that it's worth it, because this is who we are. We need to be very declarative of who we are. I am is wonderful. Of course, this is just switching it up. So your brain's going, oh, okay, let me adapt to that. I'm going to be talking about it in detail tomorrow. Helen and Deborah are here as well. So if you buy this affirmation deck, I'm going to send you your choice of mindful mug. This one, that's a belly whomper, isn't it? Don't get mad about the results you didn't earn from the work you didn't do. Bam. Isn't that terrible? But it's good it's good in a good way, right? It's good in the way of just making you think, whoa, stand up, do it. Do the work. Don't talk about the work. Do it. Do it. We give you this little stand that you can put these cards on so that it's sitting there looking at you at your desk. I mean, if you're going to use a tool, use the tool. Take it out. Use it. It's incredible what happens when you start doing those things. And by the way, big shout out to our Deborah. I want to just acknowledge her. If you are in the Hot Milk Sprint group, you've probably noticed her posting all the time. And this is a woman who's taken control of her life. She's following suit with what Tanya did earlier a couple of years ago and lost 130 pounds. She's made a decision for herself. And what I would invite you to is into the same space of making a decision for yourself of which way you want to go. Because we can continue to light ourselves on fire. And I'm talking about inflammatory foods, thoughts, activities, or we can start making decisions that will cool that heat, right? We want to cool the heat. And we do that by being mindful of what's on the end of our forks. We do that by being mindful of what's in our heads, what we're thinking about. And we do it with our movement, with the actions that we take and all the rest of it. So I just hat tip again to Deborah. We have a boutique on Etsy. If you didn't know about that, it's cute. We've got all kinds of fun stuff that says things like, I'm living my life in full bloom, etc. It's great. Find it at savingdinner.com/Etsy. The blowout sale is still there, savingdinner.com/blowout. Almost all that stuff is gone. And of course, we're giving you free shipping. If you want free shipping, well, all you have to do is order $300 worth of products, be here in the United States, and we'll take care of it for you. That's our way of saying thank you. Deborah, you're so welcome. And I'm so proud of you, by the way. Let's keep it up. And our quote of the week, have you looked at it? Have you pondered it? Have you written it down? Is it in your journal? I sure hope so. The magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. Wow. And this is an anonymous quote. Believe it or not, I didn't say that because this would be something that I would say because this is how we nail ourselves to the wall. This is the cosmic that we've been looking for. If we don't do the work and we just talk about it and plan for it and just write about it and all of that, we're not going to get the results that we want. That's just the plain truth. And one of the ways that we can get into the place of getting results is changing our minds, because that's the biggest needle mover that there is. I can give you plans galore. I could probably, if I had to, I could sit down and probably knock out 4 or 5 plans in an hour. And I'm not kidding you, because I have certain things that I want to do. And I'll name them something really cute and clever, like the blowtorch diet or the this, that, or whatever diet. This one's different because it has that. I can do all that. But if I can't change your mind, if I can't change what's between your ears, it wouldn't matter if I could do 30 in an hour. It wouldn't matter if I grabbed every diet book on the planet and dumped them in your front yard. Because the thing that changes everything is when our minds are changed, when there's that shift. That's why I called Deborah out and said, this is what it's about. There was a shift. She shifted. She changed her mind. Tanya did the same thing. She shifted. She changed her mind. Changing your mind is where it's at. And I cannot think of a more powerful tool than affirmations. And I talked about them yesterday. I talked about how affirmations challenge us to overcome the self-sabotaging behaviors, right? And the negative thoughts. And a lot of them are done on repeat. A lot of them are done out of habit. A lot of them are done as a result of trauma. A lot of them are done, I mean, I can go on and on. You know why they're there. And yeah, you might say to me, but it's really hard. Is it? What's really hard is living like that. We choose our hards all the time. We always choose a hard. So what hard do you want? Do you want the hard of just taking it easy and sitting on the couch and stuffing yourself with food that's just absolutely killing you? Or do you want the hard that comes from not doing exactly what you want at the minute and changing your mind and changing your thoughts and moving into that vibrant life that you've only dreamt about? That's what we're talking about here. I see Chris and Jane. Sue's joined us. So has Linda. Hello. Good to have you here. So yesterday was the setup for talking about affirmations because I am a huge believer in affirmations. It's completely changed my life. Mark is the result of affirmations. This house is a result of affirmations. My life is the result of affirmations because I've lived in the place of negativity. I've lived in the place of saying it's just too hard. I just don't know what to do. I'm overwhelmed. I'm this, I'm that. I changed my mind when I got sick. When I got sick and had Hashimoto's, at first things were just, working a little bit at a time. I was overweight. I was unhappy. I was full of pain. I had all kinds of issues going on. Tons. Everything changed when I changed my mind. And the biggest tool, affirmations. And that's why I'm drilling it home to you this week. I'm not going to stop talking about them until you start listening about them. Okay? Hi, Nancy. Cheers to you. Teresa, good to have you here too. So, affirmations are the heavy hitter you're looking for. Affirmations are the magic that bring in the change. Affirmations are going to help you reach your goals, rewire your brain at the same time. And guess what? Help you to feel a little bit happier about yourself and about your life. Seriously, a little bit better. Because the lens which you view the world changes. It changes. And the words that you speak change. The thoughts that you think change. Because you've spent the time to rewire your brain by using simple affirmations. That's what it is. So there's various methods of affirmations. Now, I talked about mirror affirmations before, because that's my favorite, are the mirror affirmations. And this is something that I recommend highly, highly, highly. But I've got 5 different types of affirmations that I'm going to unpack for you so that you can get behind them and start looking at what they are. Now, I just want to let you know, while affirmations in general have been studied, these particular ones that I'm giving you haven't been. But this is what I'm talking about when I say a customized plan. When you customize something to fit you, when you say, I'm not sure about these affirmations. Okay, fine. You could be a little ambivalent about them. I'm okay with that. I'm not going to take it personally. But something might just come out at you and just go, what? I could do that. Or, ooh, that seems a little bit scary, but it's also something I think I need. Open yourself up to that possibility, right? Can we do that together? Pinkies up? Yeah? Why not? Well, the first one, let's talk about mirror affirmations. So this is kind of weird, but involves standing in front of a mirror and having eyeball to eyeball contact with yourself. To make it more impactful, call yourself by name. One of the things that in science, what they've studied is that when people hear their name, they can hear their name in a crowd of like 50 people. You hear your name suddenly and you're looking around and you're in a crowded room, looking around saying, who's calling me? Who's talking my name? But you don't hear the conversation next to you or somebody over here talking about, a friend or something. Like, you don't hear all of that. You hear your name. You hear your name. We are acutely attuned to our own name. It's music to our ears, they say. So if you call yourself by name, look yourself in the eye, and it's eyeball to eyeball, you connect with yourself. It is a literal connection because there you are. You can't escape yourself. You're looking yourself in the eye. And there's a sincerity that comes with it as well, because you're having a conversation with yourself. You're talking to yourself. You are transmuting this belief in yourself, right? That's how effective they are. So when you do this, you maintain eye contact, you speak the affirmations that you need to be speaking out loud, and you just allow yourself to feel something. The emotions that happen as a result of this are phenomenal, because you might feel a little choked up. You might even want to cry a little bit, or you might see yourself in a whole new way, or you might get a little bit angry, like, why have I been holding back? This is what this is about. But this connection of being with yourself and connecting is a form of self-care that's just a level above everything. And I strongly suggest, if you've really struggled with this, to get on this and try mirror affirmations. The other one is, hi, Martha. You don't have to apologize for being late. I'm glad you're here. It's called the 4-finger affirmation. And this is when you do things by touching your fingers like this. And you have 4 affirmations that you work through, right? I am, of course, maybe, whatever it is. And you could do a self-worth one. You can do something about the success that you're trying to achieve with a goal. You can do another one that is spiritual. You can do another one that has to do with a relationship or whatever, right? But the thing about this, it's tactile. And you're going 1, 2, 3, and 4. And it's a connector too for your brain, by the way, because that's how our brains are wired. The more that we do with our hand-eye coordination and thinking about what it is that we're doing, the better off we are. And that's one of the things that we know. We've studied this. And as a matter of fact, it's one of the reasons why you're always going to hear me say, use a pencil or a pen to write in your journal, because the hand-eye thing connects it more deeply with your brain. And what we're trying to do at all times is make that connection. Connect with our brain, making that new neural pathway that we desperately need to make. Remember yesterday we talked about the things that we want to neglect and the things that we want to focus our attention on? We want to neglect the old stuff. We have a tendency to go back to that. It's, that's known. But we want to neglect it so that we can go over here and start connecting and constructing the new neural pathway. That's what the affirmation is doing. It's your construction team doing it. And when you're doing it 1, 2, 3, and 4, you're really adding a little secondary reinforcement with this tactile business. Isn't that cool? So try that and see what you think about it. You can have them on cards in front of you if you want to. But the important part is just saying them out loud. It's a recitation for yourself. What if you did that in the mirror too? Wow, can you imagine? Here you are doing this, calling yourself by name, connecting eyeball to eyeball. Kind of cool. Then there's the 3-3-3 method. This blew up on TikTok. Last summer I think it was that I saw it. And that's writing them out, those affirmations out, morning, noon, and night. Now, I don't have you do this. That's not part of the thing that I tell people to do. But I do have people doing, when you're doing the Take Back Your Life journal, which I have one over here somewhere, sitting on my desk. But when you're using your Take Back Your Life journal, that's precisely what that's about, is writing out your goal in an affirmation style. When you do this, you are, again, recording and rebuilding and constructing a new neural pathway for your brain. It's fantastic. And not only will it resonate with you as you're writing it out, but it's also going to address a specific, your goals, for example. And this helps. This repetition, Repetition is how we get things, right? Repetition is what consistency is attached to, and repetition is how we create and get the consistent results that we're looking for. Every day, shampoo, rinse, repeat. That's how it is. That's how it is with your exercise. That's how it is with the food. That's how it is with your thoughts. It's like, oh, I don't want this one. I'm going to dump this one. I'm going to add this one in. You know? Nope. When my kids were little, just a side note, I was thinking about this. I remember I used to do this. Sometimes they'd get whiny. Anyone have a child like that? Oh my goodness, my kids, they just would get whiny. And I didn't want to silence them and just tell them, shut up. I mean, didn't want to say, you have nothing to complain about. What are you doing? I didn't want to get into that conversation. That's how I was brought up. Instead, what I did was I'd give them a paper bag and I'd say, it sounds like you have a lot that you need to just get rid of. So here's a paper bag, go whine into the paper bag. And you can go do it in the living room. I'm here in the kitchen, making dinner or whatever. There you go. And I'd hand them to it. They would take it and they'd blah, 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 blah into the paper bag. As they got older, they of course, roll their eyes, but it worked really great when they were little. And that's how we can do it too. We could just say, I'm just going to take this paper bag and take this negative thought, blah, 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 put it over here. And instead, I'm going to say the absolute polar opposite of what it is that I'm not going to say it's too hard. I'm going to say this is a challenge and I'm up to it. You see the difference? That is, if it's too hard, that means you just can't do it. But if you're saying instead, this is a challenge and I'm up to it for it, there goes your particular activating system. Okay, let's look for evidence to really support that. That's what this is all about. You see how fun this is? Isn't this so fun? I think it is. And then there's a visualization affirmation. This reminds me of Mother Hen, Nancy. She did this a lot with, she wanted to come here last summer, or the summer before, I guess it wasn't 2021, wasn't it? Or 2022, when we had full bloom here. And she had her vision board. Well, she had like moving stuff for her vision board, but she had a vision board. She had a picture of Wanda, our big Wanda Fonteska, the big pontoon. She had pictures of, different things that she was doing and trying to create her granddaughter's room. I'm not telling the story well, but Nancy knows. Making a vision board like this, visualizing it and then speaking through it. Unbelievable how this works. And I'm going to tell you another thing too, is that you can get into great detail if you want to about that. But we also have to remember that we hold the details in our hands loosely, because sometimes it doesn't always come out exactly the way we anticipate, or the exact whatever that it needs to be. But when we hold the details in our hands loosely, it makes a big, big difference. So speak your affirmation and the visualization. Yes, Nancy, absolutely. Go post that on your Facebook page. I liked it because her vision board changed up, and she had little Velcro things where she could move them around, almost like she was a kindergarten teacher doing things for her, on a felt board. Remember those? But this, when we're visualizing something, we're seeing it in our mind's eye. And when we speak about it as well, and just say, yeah, and there I am, like I'm just going to use Nancy's for example. I see myself, I am sitting on Wanda. I'm having a great time with my other lovelies. And I'm in full bloom. This is the best time ever, whatever it is. But when we're doing this and we're visualizing and we're emoting over it, because we have an emotion attached to that, don't we? And we see all of that, and then you could even light it up better by doing Nancy's vision board kind of a thing. Same idea. We can start seeing what it is. And, when we can imagine in our mind's eye what it is, we are more apt to experience that. I remember a long time ago, I had a convert. I'm not going to go into the details because it's personal, but I had this real conundrum with my ex-husband at the time and my kids and all of this. And I just imagined, I would say to a friend, this is the conversation I want to have with him. This is what I want him to say, and this is what I'm going to say in return. And do you know, we had that conversation one day. We were driving together in the car, discussing the kids, and that was the conversation that we had. This is how powerful these things are. Visualize it, feel the emotion of what that would feel like, and talk about it. Talk about the vision of what it is that you see. Remember the whole thing that we did about talking about the concert pianist? I say that over and over and over again, but it's just so interesting to me how the brain cannot differentiate between an actual event and a pretend event. If there's emotion attached to it, if there's a visual picture attached to it, brain thinks it's the same thing. And guess what? Then the reticular activating system gets pushed into place, and all of a sudden, there you are, getting the very thing that you were hoping and praying for and goaling for, right? Isn't that so cool? And then the last one, this one I do a lot too, and you can add this into another practice, and that's walking affirmations. And I love this one so much because, you're killing two birds with one stone. You're out there walking, doing good for your body and yourself. And as you are syncing, your affirmations really with each step as you go, it just makes a big, big difference. So I do this, and I also add in a gratitude practice as well. It's sort of a walking meditation. Dr. Joe Dispenza has walking meditations. I do not do his meditations. I find them weird and off-putting. I love him, but I find it, I just can't do his affirmations. I want to laugh at them. They sound kind of goofy. He has like this echoey thing, and I just keep thinking of the Wizard of Oz, and who's that man behind the curtain? That's where my brain goes. But my point is that as you walk and you say your affirmations out loud, I like to say them out loud. You could say, I'm taking a step toward, because you are literally taking a step, right? These are the things that I will do. I am taking a step toward having X, Y, and Z in my life. I am taking a step toward becoming a better athlete. I am taking a step toward, and you do this and you affirm all of that. And then you can do it with your gratitude practice too. As I take these steps, I'm grateful for the feet and the legs and the body that's able to do this. There's a lot of people out there who can't be doing this walk. And here I am doing it. How privileged am I? How grateful am I? And then the last thing I just want to mention that, happens is sometimes people say, yeah, I feel like a little bit of a hypocrite, or I feel like a little bit of a little out of sorts. It doesn't gel with me because it's too much. Now, having a BHAG, right? A big, hairy, audacious goal is great. But you don't go from here to that big, hairy, audacious goal without taking steps to get there. And so what you can do is, like, let's say you had a goal. I used pickleball, of course. In my wildest dreams, it would be great to be a senior pro. They call them super seniors at my age. I'd love to be a super senior pro. But I can't with a straight face say that right now. But you know what I can say? I am becoming more proficient every time I play pickleball and am winning at my tournaments. That's a step in between those two things. And I can say that with all sincerity because I know the work that I'm doing. I know the training that I'm doing. I know how I'm progressing. And it makes sense for me. And it underscores a neural pathway that I want to build. So remember this. If you have a big, hairy, audacious goal and you just can't get into the place of affirmation and being able to do that, that's fine. Find a midway point or a smaller baby step that's going to help you, or something, a smaller goal. That's why we break our goals, by the way, down into 12-week goals. Makes all the difference in the world. So I just want to, again, mention this. Affirmations are fabulous tools to help you to get where it is that you want to go. It doesn't have to cost you a dime. You don't have to get my affirmation deck, although I would strongly suggest it because I give you 2 tools for the price of 1. 3x5 cards will work. Get into this habit of affirming the things that you want and know in your heart of hearts that you are building the bridge that you need to build toward the life that you want to live. This is how it's done. All right? That's right, Teresa. She said, you said you were an athlete before you were the athlete you are today. Absolutely. This is how you create your reality. So I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Of course, the announcements are at savingdinner.com/announcements. We're getting ready for the Ultimate Sprint, which is happening on November 6th. You have plenty of time to get ready for it. And I will tell you this, last thing I'm going to tell you is this. Do not delay on taking care of yourself today, right? You just never know what's around the corner. And if you want to live your most vibrant life, it's time to get a handle on the most basic stuff, your food. All right? Peace be with you. I appreciate you all. See you tomorrow.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.